everybody, it's Lee and Belinda from Chateau Mareuil. It's a beautiful late spring day here. The sky's blue, I can hear the birds singing, the sun's shining, and we should be doing some gardening. But instead we're talking to you this afternoon.
Much better, I think, much better.
We're so grateful to all of you for watching our YouTube channel, and most of you seem to be enjoying the films. We've had lots of questions and we thought now was about time to answer some of them. So again, I've been doing my homework this morning, doing a lot of homework at the moment.
Yeah, homeschooling suited Belinda quite well actually.
Thank
and
you.
Me.
But at least I went to school when I was that age.
I tried.
So I've grouped the questions
Just never made
together.
it.
I will be asking Lee some of them and answering most of them myself. No, I won't.
Yes, she will. She will, I know it.
So I've grouped them together, and there's quite a number actually about asking about our decision to buy Chateau Mareuil, our decision to move to France. So I'm going to ask Lee the first question from Elaine Agar. She's saying she'd love to move to France, but how old were you when you went?
Oh right, well we've been coming to France a lot on holidays and that, but when we actually made the decision to move here, we were mid to late 50s.
That's very kind of you. And accurate. Yeah,
One of us was.
Mid to late 50s. So Ruth Bernstein has asked us, Lee, what was the deciding moment that made you want to up sticks and move to France?
Right, well if I'm truly honest, there was no deciding moment at all. We kind of slid into it. We wanted to buy the place. I've always wanted to own a chateau, and we
That's true.
went and looked at a few and really fell in love with this one and bought it and was using it as a bit of a holiday home, really.
You're right.
Then-
We never actually turned around to one another and said we're going to move to France. We were just spending longer and longer here until we came to the point where we realised we did live here, really.
Yeah, I think also because we were going back a lot, we were finding that the cost of transporting ourselves to and from, with Misty the dog who had to have a pet passport and go on the ferry, it was actually an economic decision as well to stay for longer.
So I've got a question from Josephine Kachia. Hope I pronounced that correctly, Josephine. Hello, Belinda and Lee. Why did you decide to live in a chateau? Because we're mad. Close bracket. And how many did you see before deciding on Chateau Mareuil? Do both of you speak French?
Oh, it's a number of
Well, I
questions
do.
there.
I speak French. Lee can speak for himself.
I do South London French.
Yeah,
so
which is
I
not
can-
French at all.
No, it's...
So, Lee,
I'm good at building French.
to the point, why did you decide to live in a chateau?
I always wanted to, and my last name's Prince, and princes need to live in castles.
That's true. And how many did you see before deciding on Chateau Mareuil?
Oh, you better answer that because you made the itinerary up, didn't you?
So this is quite a long story. I'm going to try and really keep this short.
Condensed, yes,
It's
keep
really
it short,
condensed.
Belinda. Keep
So
it short, just like us.
we actually
Keep
were
it short.
buying a chateau, thank you, in Normandy, and it was beautiful with a moat. It was fabulous. We really wanted it. We got to the point. We'd signed everything we could. It was the day of the exchange of contract, and one of the family members pulled out at the last moment and refused to sign, saying that she, the sister of 4 siblings, wanted to buy the chateau herself. In fact, she didn't buy it in the end. So we had transferred all the money over to France. It was all here. I said to Lee, there's no way this money's going back to the UK again. We're buying a chateau. I put together an itinerary. I think I had 12 on my list. We came over for a week. I think we saw 10. And this one was in the middle. I would say it was just about in the middle. We were looking at a region very much in the centre of France. And actually, we've really ended up in the centre of that region. It's amazing.
I've got to add to this. We had so much fun.
We had a spreadsheet.
You had a spreadsheet. It was ticking boxes, and we were giving them all nicknames because we couldn't remember which ones they were. So we had one which was Aerial Tower with Mad Barking Dog. There was another one with Loud Frogs Pond. There was another one with 70s Gentleman with Old Pond. Honestly, we were killing ourselves going around. And in the evening, we used to sit and just compare them, didn't we?
But we fell in love with this one.
We fell in love with this one.
Chateau Mareuil. Last one on this subject, honestly, from John Underhill. Morning, guys. Hope you're safe and well. Thank you, we are. Did you both want to buy a chateau and move to France? Or did one want it more than the other?
Warning, there's a domestic coming up in a minute.
So I think, to be candid, Lee was the more ambitious, I think, in wanting to own a chateau, and I would say that I happily followed his dreams. I think that would be my take on that. Yeah.
Any regrets?
No, je ne regrette rien.
I thought you were going to burst into song.
I can do. I'm going to let Lee talk exclusively to this question. That's going to be a challenge. So Vida has asked us, what advice would you give to someone who is thinking of buying a chateau?
Okay, first of all, make sure you've got deep pockets. Secondly, anything you look at, make sure it's got a good roof, good windows, recent drainage, and if it's not got mains drainage, make sure you've got a good new fosse with a certification.
A fosse is a septic tank, by the way.
Septic tank. Check out how much land is coming with it, because a lot of people have a great desire for lots and lots of land, and it's not until you own a lot of land you realise just how much work it is, unless it's woodland. Whatever you expect to pay for any refurbishment, triple it and then add some as well, because it'll always cost more than
Maybe
you think.
double.
Yeah, it is.
You're prone to exaggeration.
Thank you. Remember, I was getting charged with answering this question, but that's not been allowed, has it?
I think I've got snakes crawling up my legs. Hurry up.
That's the dog. It's the dog's tail. It's Misty. Misty, get away. Anyway, so they're the quick answers to that. And check out what you want before you just fall in love with something. Don't let your heart rule your head.
What, like we did?
Yeah, well, I'm sharing the lessons learned, really. Although I love it here.
I would say go for it, though. Don't think too hard. If that's something you really want to do and you've got the means to do it, you're living for today. Just live once and enjoy.
None of us are coming back this way, so let's just do it.
So now we've got a few questions on chateau life. So Carol White has asked Lee, I would like to ask what new skills you have both learnt since buying the chateau.
That's a good question.
Well, I've learnt to live with Lee.
Tolerance.
Yes, very tolerant.
On my part,
Yeah.
this is.
What have you learnt?
I'm learning to speak French, so I've got language skills are coming quite good. Learned how to do roofing, a bit of joinery, a lot of do and mend. Learned that you can't rush into it. Gardening, I've now got kind of green fingers. And don't rush it. You know, there's always loads of jobs to do, and if you start too many jobs all at once, you'll never get any of them finished, and you'll get depressed because you can't get near to finishing them.
Next question.
Go on then.
From Timothy James, do you mind living in the cottage instead of the chateau?
No, not at all.
We love it, don't we?
I love the cottage. It's kind of manageable, and particularly in the winter where we can light a fire and keep the whole place warm.
Cosy.
And we're like snug down, cosy. We've got a TV and telephone and internet. What more do you want?
Next question from Georgie.
Hiya,
Hello,
Georgie.
How far away is the village or town from where you are?
Good question.
Are you quite remote? We haven't seen where you come in from the road to your chateau. So we're going to do that, actually. So that was a really good idea, and we realised we've never shown. It's very beautiful.
Yeah, it's a really nice route up to the chateau, and you get good views across the landscaping. So nearest towns, there's 2 small villages near us where they've got a small petrol station, 1 pump, a spa, 2 bars.
Not a spa bath.
No, a 24/7
facility,
type spa, supermarket in one of them. The other one's got another little French supermarket, and there was a baker's and a sports bar, but I think the baker's is shut now.
So that's Le Sac-les-Églises, Le Dorat and Montmorillon. Those are the nearest.
No, I was thinking of the one in La Tremouille.
Oh, La Tremouille, 10 minutes.
No,
yeah.
Montmorillon is the nearest big town, and that's
Yeah.
25 minutes from here by car.
Yeah.
And La Dora is another big town, and it's about 15 minutes, and it's got both towns have got everything in it, banks, the whole
And La
lot.
Tremouille and Le Sac-les-Églises are villages, and they're 10 minutes away with shops and facilities. Have you guys experienced any paranormal activities at the chateau?
I felt Belinda throw her arm across me at night, which was a bit odd.
Quite seriously, absolutely, thank you. Absolutely not. There is nothing like that. And that may disappoint some people, but there isn't. So it has a lovely, warm feeling. In fact, I remember one French guest, who loved the place. Most people do, everyone does. And she said she felt the place had a soul, which is a beautiful way to describe the way that Chateau Mareuil feels, actually.
We also had a friend that stayed here en route to Portugal. She lives in Portugal.
Ah, yes.
Who's
Liz.
kind of psychic, Liz. and she stayed in the chateau for 3 nights and said never felt anything untoward there, which I think is a good thing. Some people feel, you know, we're missing out not having a friendly ghost, but I'd rather not.
I don't want any ghosts,
No.
friendly or unfriendly.
I've got enough with you.
I've got a question here from Mikhail. Is it difficult, if possible, to keep the chateau warm in winter, Lee?
It's not difficult. It is hard work though, because the main means of heating is a very big wood-burning stove in the main salon, and you need to keep it stoked with logs all the time.
24/7.
24/7. So you need to stoke it up at night, shut down the air draft so it doesn't burn out in the evening, and then open it up in the morning. The hot water is electric, and the cooking's a mixture of electric and gas. So food and hot water, no problem, but keeping the place warm. Once it warms up, the walls are about 1 metre thick, so you get residual heat build up in the walls, and there's a kind of warmth to the place, but it's getting it there to start with.
Question from Ruby Harris. Thanks, Ruby. I'm wondering how the quarantine is affecting you business-wise. If you are unable to have any bookings this summer, and will you be able to survive financially? So yes, I mean, the quarantine totally has affected our business and will do for the remainder of the season. There's no doubt about that. So whereby we had bookings, we had lots of inquiries coming in. Pretty much as soon as this situation took a stronghold and the confinement set in, everything stopped. And we are now literally in a state of limbo. We genuinely don't know what's going to happen. So we don't know whether we'll get any bookings. Now, whether or not we're going to be able to survive financially, we are fortunate in that Lee is still consulting. He's still doing some consultancy work on his lighting business, which is important. It's very important to us now more than ever. And I have some small pensions, and we're okay. Thank God for that.
I think it's true to say there's nothing definite at the moment, but there's a lot of talk locally about easing of the restrictions, which means that towards August, September, even maybe late July, we will be able to take bookings again. But at the moment, we're waiting to see.
So Catrionis has asked us, is the chateau for rent for vacations?
Yes.
Totally. So we've got a website, www.chateaumareuil.com. Look us up. We are here. We're available for your holidays, for your parties, for your events. We also we do offer chambre d'hôte, bed and breakfast as well. Yeah, we're here. And I've got a last question on this subject, Lee. Anyway, from Sarah Campbell, and she's saying, will you adopt me?
We've got 4 cats, a dog, 4 kids, 2 grandchildren.
We've got plenty of room,
I
haven't
think
we?
we've got loads of room though. So
more adoptions.
Why don't you come over and see us?
Yeah.
You might get here and not like us at all.
We'll give it a go. Thanks so much to all of you who are enjoying the Chateau Kitchen series. We are so enjoying filming them. We're having so much fun. And all I can think about at the moment, seriously, it keeps me awake at night, or it sends me to sleep at night, is what we're going to do next. So I think something from the garden.
I've put an awful lot of weight on since she's been doing this.
No, it's all vegetables.
It's all good food.
It's all vegetables.
It's puppy fat.
So
really.
thank you so much to Red in Wales, who's requesting a regular cooking vlog. Yes,
we're going to do it.
Quite a few people have asked us for that. She said, I love the previous ones. I found your commentary and tips fascinating. Thank you for all of your hard work. And I know how much effort is required to produce films like this. But she's asking me if I'm a self-taught cook. I certainly am. So I had a business career. I've always cooked, obviously. I've always loved cooking. But I had a career which did come to an end at some point a few years ago. I then started up a food business. This was while I was waiting for Lee to really bring his business in London to a close. I think that's fair to say. And then, of course, when we moved over here and we've now got this fabulous chateau, I've got lots more opportunity to cook. So I am totally self-taught, and thank you very much. Lee, I've got a question from Dean Wall, who said, do you grow any of your own vegetables? I think you can answer very
succinctly
soundly on that one. And also,
yes, we do.
Are there any edible mushrooms on your property?
I nearly got to speak then. Thank you.
Off you go.
Yes, we do. We grew all our own last year, and we loved it so much we decided to do it again on a much bigger scale this year. Unfortunately, I didn't realise just how big a scale it was, and we've now got loads, hundreds of seeds of everything. We're growing fresh potatoes, carrots, green beans, peas, tomatoes. Yeah, not forgetting the tomatoes. Salsify, carrots. Did I say carrots?
Yeah, basil,
radicchio and celery. There's some celery coming up, and on top of that we're going to have a few other wild herbs.
And there's always the rhubarb.
And there's rhubarb, and we've got strawberries growing, and apples. We've got pears, cherries. So we've got quite a lot of stuff here. Yeah,
plenty to do for me too.
And are there any edible mushrooms? There's a lot of mushrooms here. I'm not sure if they're edible or not, but one of the things I've heard is that the pharmacy do a service. If you take mushrooms in, they will tell you whether they're safe to eat or not. I don't know if that's true. I've never done it, but this year I am planning to do it. Yeah, to find out ourselves if that's true.
We've had lots of questions about us, which is very flattering. The chateau's the beauty here. We're just standing in front of it.
You're right.
Thank you very much. So, but anyway, I've got a question here, Lee, I think you can answer, from Cindy, who's saying, what is the first thing you will do once confinement has been lifted?
Go and see the family. I miss not seeing my family, all of them. My parents are still both alive. Our 4 children between us, they're married in relationships, and we haven't seen them for ages. There's 2 grandchildren we haven't seen for a long while. So that's one of the priorities for me.
I think the second thing you're going to do is go to the local bar in our village when it opens. I think
yes,
absolutely candid.
That sounded like I've got a night pass.
So very briefly about us.
This is good. I can have a drink.
Our backstory and how we met. We actually met on a blind date.
Well, I was a roly-poly-gram at one of our parties.
It was 18 years ago. We were both in our 40s. That's given our age away. And we were both single at the time, and we met on a blind date, and we married 14 years ago. We've got 4 children, as we've said. We've got 2 grandchildren, and actually there's loads more, but we haven't got time for that today.
To tell all that. If you're interested, just mail us, and we're pretty open people. That's enough.
Once again, thank you very much indeed for your interest. Yeah. We enjoy making these films so much. We have got lots more to show you and to tell you. Please subscribe, please tell all your friends, and keep watching. Thanks ever so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.